What is going on, YouTube? This is Sam from TeamSamuraiXi here, coming to you guys with finally a Geargia deck profile for you guys today. So I hope you guys enjoy this deck profile. So the really good thing about this deck profile is that it is right in front of you guys. So if you guys are not here for the deck profile and you guys are not here to hear some of my explanations of some of the card choices I have for the deck, you guys can just look at the deck list, pause the video, and just copy down the deck list and play it for yourselves. But make sure you guys let me know on how it worked out for you, and that's the most important part. And of course, guys, if you guys are here to watch this video, you guys are absolutely amazing. So as I progress through the deck profile, I'll be explaining to you guys some of my card choices that I decided to play in the deck and the reason why I play them. And I just like to apologize for you guys for getting this deck so late. I've been trying to search for this deck for someone to give me the deck profile, but you know what? No one was able to just do a live deck profile for me. So I was like, you know what? I couldn't even pick up the cards myself. I was trying to find these Geargia cards myself, but I wasn't fortunate enough to get these cards as fast as possible. So guys, I'm sorry. I have to apologize to you guys for having to do this DN YGOPro deck profile. I have a pet peeve where, you know what, I actually hate to do an overview of the deck like this. It's because I felt like it's way better if I would have the actual cards instead to show you guys, rather than having to do it on DN or YGOPro and get the easy way out. Like, so I always like to get all the cards I need first and tend to do the live deck profiles. So yeah, so here's a deck profile for you guys, and I'll explain to you guys everything as I progress to the deck profile. So without further ado, let's get started with this Geargia deck profile. Alright, start with the monsters, of course. You play double Trap Tricks Vermilio. The reason being why this card is so good is because this card is a utility card. This card is absolutely amazing. When he's summoned, you basically get to search a Trap Hole card, and the Trap Hole cards that you play in the deck is, of course, Time Space Trap Hole, which is one of the most amazing cards right now in today's format, considering the fact that Cosmo and of course Pendulums are one of the two most prominent decks in today's format. So Trap Vermilio is really good in that aspect, and of course Trap Vermilio can get you access to Banlist, Trap Hole, Banlist, Vanity's Emptiness, and of course a Solemn Warning is like the holy trinity for this format. Banlist, Vanity's, and Warning is literally the best staple cards in the deck right now. So Trap Tricks Vermilio is really good in that purpose. As you guys can see, I do play Call of the Haunted. Of course, Call of the Haunted end phase, bringing back Trap Tricks Vermilio, can pop a spawn trap card, so that's really good in that aspect. And of course, he's a free normal summon. And for the amounts of what's it called? Trap cards, like the Trap Hole trap cards that you play in the deck, you definitely want to get to your Time Space and your bombers as fast as possible. So I was like, you know what, I definitely need to main at least 2 Vermilios in the main deck. So I would definitely recommend you guys playing the Trap Trick Vermilio, since she gives you access to Time Space Trap Hole and Bombers Trap Hole, which is one of the most biggest cards against Cosmos and Pendulums in today's format. So you know what, guys, I would definitely recommend playing double Vermilio just for that purpose. And she's also a 1600 beater, so that's also another plus to Trap Tricks Vermilio. So 2 Vermilios, that's pretty much it. Now off to the Geargia engine. You play, of course, triple Arsenal, triple Accelerator, triple Geargia Armor, triple Geargiano MK2, and of course our Geargiano. And that's pretty much it for our monster lineup. Of course, you always want to open up armor first turn. If you don't open up armor first turn, you want to see Arsenal, or you want to see a Trap Tricks Vermilio. That's pretty much it. Of course, Arsenal gets you to access Geargia armor. Basically, how this deck works is that if you literally let your armor lives for 1 turn, and your opponent attacks your armor and you search an accelerator, next turn, if that armor is still on the board, you basically win the game. So yeah, this deck is actually really good. And now, yeah, that's pretty much it. And of course, you play, of course, the 4 Geargianos is because you definitely have Geargia gear in the deck. And my reason being for not playing MK3 is that MK3 is not really viable in this deck. It's, in my personal opinion, MK3 is not good at all. That's just what I believe in. It doesn't really have synergy into the deck. I just don't like MK3. I feel like he sucks. If you guys can tell me why he's good, you guys can definitely leave down in the comment section below why you think he's good. But other than that, I felt like Geargiano MK3 isn't important in the deck, and you do not need it at all. And of course, you basically only want to play these 4s because to add more consistency into getting your Geargia gears live. So these cards are really important to, in the main deck. And also, as you guys can see, I don't like maining hand traps in this deck, is because you want to see your Geargia armors and your arsenals as much as possible, so you can get your combo plays going. And I felt like Maxi isn't really good in the main deck right now, especially in this deck. So I would definitely side the Maxi and things like that, as you guys can see. Now off to our spell lineup. So we play, of course, double Instant Fusion for the Norden, and the reason being why you play a double Instant Fusion is because, and one Norden, is because you want to see Instant Fusion as much as possible. This deck is a rank 4 spam deck, so the faster you get access to Instant Fusion, the better your combo plays is going to be. So Instant Fusion is really, really good in that aspect. And of course, if you ever encounter a situation where Instant Fusion happens to be dead, you can always Emerald back your Norden, so Instant Fusion can be live again. So that's my reasoning behind playing the double Instant Fusion. But that's pretty much it. Okay, now you play, of course, a Soul Charge. Soul Charge is such an amazing card in this deck. It has so much utility in this deck. That's what I love about Soul Charge. This card is absolutely amazing, especially when you Soul Charge during late game, bringing back all your Geargia monsters, going to Geargia and X and things like that to add more advantage to your hand. Soul Charge is really, really good in that purpose. Next, you play, of course, Triple Upstart Goblin. You are playing a 37 card deck essentially, and you just add more consistency into the deck. So Upstart Goblin is amazing. And of course, you play Triple Mystical Space Typhoon. This deck can easily OTK. So the faster you get rid of those back rows, the faster you get rid of those pendulum scales, the more likely your chance that you're gonna win the duel on the upcoming turn. So Mystical Space Typhoon is really good in that purpose. Next, we, of course, a One Regeki. Board clearance is really important in this deck. Being able to just clear boards is really, really good. And of course, Regeki comboing off with a Mist Dweller against the Cosmo matchup, you basically just win the duel. So Regeki is really good in that aspect. Now off to the trap lineup. That's pretty much it. That's pretty much all the cards that you play for your spells. If you guys like to play Pod Duality, you guys can definitely go ahead and play Pod Duality. But I just felt like, with the amount of traps, you're already going to draw mostly into your traps. And I felt like Upstart Goblin is just more viable than Pod Duality in this deck. So yeah, that's just my personal opinion. If you guys want to play Duality, you guys can cut off maybe one Instant Fusion and one Mystical Space Typhoon. That's all the recommendations that I have for you guys. Or if you guys want to completely take out the Upstart Goblin lineup, you guys can definitely go ahead and just cut off all of the Upstart Goblin and put in Pod Duality. They're both good cards, but Pod Duality just tends to be slower. Sometimes you can already go off first turn if you have the right cards in your hand. Like, let's say you have double Accelerator and of course an Arsenal in your hand, you can easily go off within that turn already. So that's pretty good. Things that you can do with this deck, but nonetheless, Pod Duality and Upstart Goblins are really, really good in this deck. But I just felt like it's not necessary to main deck the Pod Duality in the deck, so I just decided to put in Upstart Goblin instead. So if you guys want to take out these cards, Upstart Goblin for Pod Duality, you guys can definitely go ahead and replace these cards. So that's pretty much it for our spells. Now off to our traps to play Triple Gear. This card is self-explanatory. It's like basically the rescue rabbit of this deck. So Gear is absolutely amazing. Mostly, if you open up with Gear Armor and Gear, next turn you literally win the duel. So Gear is amazing. Of course, one bottomless trap hole, searchable with, of course, Trap 6 Vermilio. Really amazing in that aspect. So pretty good. Now, of course, you play one Vanity's Emptiness. Having a huge board of monsters and Vanity's Emptiness is always great. So Vanity's Emptiness is really good in that aspect. Locking on the Cosmo matchup, locking on the Pendulum matchup. Vanity's Emptiness is always viable. Next, of course, you play Double Call the Haunted. This card is absolutely amazing. The sole purpose of this card is for consistency and for utility purposes. You're basically playing triple Monster Reborn in the deck. You're actually playing 5 Monster Reborns in the deck with the double Instant Fusion, the Soul Charge, and of course, the Call the Haunted. You get access to your graveyard as much as possible, and it's really, really important that way. Since Call the Haunted is able to bring back, revive back your Gear Armor. So let's say that your Gear Armor gets destroyed, and during end phase you can always Call the Haunted back and extend your combo plays during your turn. So that's what I like about Call the Haunted. And if you are scared of problematic back rolls, you have Traps from Emilio to Call the Haunted back to get rid of those back rolls that you're scared about. So Mamilio is really good in that aspect. So Call the Haunted is really, really good. I love the utility that this card has, and of course, being able to just revive back monsters is always great. And why not play 2 Monster Reborn in the deck? But that's just my personal opinion. Sometimes you might dead draw. You can never dead draw Call the Haunted unless you have no Geargia monsters in your graveyard. So when you top deck a Call the Haunted, it's pretty good. You Call the Haunted for Geargia Armor. During your turn, you flip it back face down, flip it back up, add a Accelerator to your hand, special that Accelerator, and just go off with your Geargia and X plays and things like that. So Call the Haunted is really good in that purpose since it adds tons and tons of utility into the deck. So I definitely recommend playing double Call the Haunted in deck. Next, of course, you play the Warning, and of course, double Horn of Heaven. Horn of Heaven is absolutely amazing in his deck, and in any deck that can push out monsters really, really fast, I would recommend playing Horn of Heaven. Horn of Heaven is one of the greatest cards right now. It used to be a Black Horn of Heaven, but now Horn of Heaven is definitely better since Black Horn of Heaven is now got its errata, so you can't really use it in today's meta anymore. So Horn of Heaven is definitely better than Black Horn of Heaven in this aspect. And the reason being why this card is so good in this deck is because this deck pushes out a lot of monsters. More than likely during your one turn, you're definitely gonna have two more monsters on board. So Horn of Heaven is always viable. And you know, stopping the Farm Girl, stopping the Good Witch, stopping the what's it called? What's the dark guy? I don't know what it's called. Witch something. Some dark witch or something in the Cosmos is really important. You know, stopping the normal guys, it's really important and it's really key against the Cosmo matchup. So you know, you want to see Warning and of course Horn of Heaven to your hand as much as possible. So you know what, when you summon that monster, you activate Horn of Heaven. Tribute off, let's say your Geargia X. If you happen to have a level 3 in your grave, you special summon it of the Geargia X's effect. So it's really good in that aspect. So Horn of Heaven is really, really good. And especially, it's really good against the Pendulum matchup. This card is absolutely amazing. Pendulums are going to take over the game. They've already taken over the game. But you know what? This card is just so viable against Cosmo matchup and of course Pendulums. Since you know what, if your opponent Pendulums tons of monsters, let's say they Pendulum 4 monsters, 3 monsters, you actually Horn of Heaven, they basically lose all that monster and it'll go to the graveyard. So it's probably the best feeling ever. Horn of Heaven is just so reliable and so viable in his deck. Since you're always gonna have more than 2 monsters on board. So Horn of Heaven is amazing in that aspect. I would definitely recommend playing, of course, 2 Horn of Heavens and, of course, the 1 Solemn Warning, which is always self-explanatory. Now, off to the next battle traps. You play, of course, double Stormy Mirror Force. This card, I kid you not, is one of the best Mirror Force cards ever invented, especially against this format where Magic Specters and Cosmos, you know, they can't be targeted and they can't be destroyed. So, Stormy Mirror Force is really important in that aspect. Is really important in that aspect. Being able to bounce all the cards back to their hand is really, really crucial, especially against the Cosmo matchup when the Dark Destroyers or things like that. Let's say they have all ships on board. You Stormy Mirror Force them. They have all dead ships in their hands. So Stormy Mirror Force is really important in that aspect. But if you guys can't afford Stormy Mirror Force, like me, I cannot afford this card. This card is too expensive right now. You guys can definitely go ahead and play Mirror Force instead. But Mirror Force isn't that great against the Magic Spectre matchup. But you know what? It can be good in the Cosmo matchup if you have Abyss Dweller on board. You know, try to go Abyss Dweller as much as possible if you're playing against the Cosmo matchup and you're backed up with Mirror Force. So Abyss Dweller is really, really good in that aspect. So that's pretty much it. Of course, double Storm Mirror Force, and last but not least, triple Time Space Travel. This card is absolutely amazing, especially against the Pendulums and of course the Cosmo matchup. This card is insane. You know, any cards a special summon from the hand or the extra deck is returned to the deck, and you lose 1,000 damage each. More than likely against the Pendulum matchup, your opponent will not Pendulum like 5. Always, like, you know, it's really likely to how if they're ever gonna pendulum 5, the most they're gonna pendulum, in my personal opinion, is they're gonna pendulum 3. So the most that you're probably gonna pay for a Time Space Trap Hole is 3,000. So 3,000 is worth it for 1,000. Is worth it since those monsters will be returned back to the deck and they will not hit the graveyard or anything. So Time Space Trap Hole is really important in that aspect, and of course it's searchable with, of course, Trap Tricks Mermilio. So that's pretty much it for the main deck. This deck is really, really good. You know what? If you open up with Geargia Armor, Geargia Gear, and Stormy Mirror Force, you basically win the duel. You bounce all the active monsters and you just push for OTKs next turn. So this deck is really, really good in that aspect. You know, we're just waiting for the new Utopia card to come out. Being able to overlay over the Utopia is really, really good. So yeah, that's pretty much it for my main deck, guys. Let me know what do you guys think. Now off to the extra deck real quick. You play Norden, Diamond, Utopia. Utopia is really important in this deck since it's able to waste your opponent resources just to get rid of this card. I've seen so many people waste so many resources just to get rid of Utopia. Like, you know, they'll finish any Utopia, they'll break through skill to Utopia, you know, Regeki the Utopia, things like that. So they'll waste a lot of resources just to get rid of this card on board. And if you can protect your armor with Utopia on board, you're basically just win the game next turn. So it's crazy. I know I keep saying that, but it's true. So yeah, so 1 Ragnar 0, triple Geargia X, 1 Anarch, double Castell, 1 Dire Wolf. This card is amazing. Being able to just pop problematic back rows is really, really crucial, so Dire Wolf is good for that aspect. Gaga Samurai. Since this deck cannot play Blade Armor Ninja, this deck has potential to OTK really, really easily. This card is a 3,800 beater on board, so Gaga Samurai is really important in that aspect. One Nagaso Emerald, being able to revive back, recycle back your Nordens and you got Gagan X and your accelerators is really, really good. So Emerald is amazing in that aspect. 1 Dweller, and last but not least, 1 Ptolemais, waiting for infinity. So yeah, pretty much it for our extra deck. After the side deck is really self-explanatory, and it's really up to personal preference. But this is what I have so far for the side deck. Side deck, you guys can do whatever you guys want, but this is just what I have so far. So triple Cyber Dragon and double Chimera Tech for the Cosmo matchup. This deck is purely a base machine deck. If you, especially on the Cyber Dragon, you go off with your machines. You have 4 machines on board, and they have like 3 machines on board. Contact Fusion, bring back the 8,000 Chimera Tech. So it's insane. Yeah, so double Chimera Tech, triple DNA Surgery. Screw you, Magic Specters. Your traps will not be live, so DNA Surgery is really good in that aspect. Double Imperial Iron Wall, Cosmo matchup. Infernoids. Double Trap Stun. Trap Stun is really amazing, especially against Rogue matchup and especially against Tellarknights or any decks that tend to play heavy back row. So Trap Stun is really good in that purpose. The Horn of Heaven, the third Horn of Heaven, usually sided in against the Cosmo matchup. So Horn of Heaven is really good in that aspect. And last but not least, double Maxi to end off our whole entire side deck. And this concludes our video, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Let me know what you guys think, and let me give you guys a recap on why I'm playing some of the cards. Traps from Milo is really important since, of course, you play 4 trap hole cards in the deck, and you want to get access to these cards as much as possible. So Traps from Milo gives you access into these cards, so it's really good in that aspect. And of course, Horn of Heaven is really good since this deck has this deck can literally bring out monsters every single turn. You're more than likely going to have 2 monsters on board, especially with like Geargia, summoning Geargia with Accelerator and things like that. You know, you're already making your Horn of Heaven live by just tributing off your you're tributing off your Geargia. So Horn of Heaven is really good in that aspect as well. And last but not least, Color Haunted just has crazy amount of utility in the deck. Being able to revive back monsters and things like that to extend your combo plays during your turn is really important. And of course, Time Space Trap Hole. This card is just wrecks the entire format right now. Pendulums and Cosmo matchups. So yeah, guys, that's pretty much it for my deck profiles. If you guys enjoyed this deck profile, give this video a thumbs up. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I know that I'm so sorry that I had to do the deck profile on here. And I have one big question for you guys. What do you guys think of me live streaming? I was actually debating this on if I should make a Twitch and do some live streaming content for you guys. So if you guys want me to live stream, let me know and give me guys some insights what you guys think of me live streaming. Guys, don't forget to subscribe, like this video, and of course comment if you guys have any suggestions or things like that for this deck profile. And if you guys want to see a Geargia Karakuri deck profile, more explosive or OTK deck profile, you guys can just give this video 100+ likes as well, and we'll do the next Karakuri Geargia deck profile. And my reason being why I like the rank 4 spam rather than, of course, the Geargia Karakuri is because Geargia Karakuri, if you're drawn to your Karakuri monsters, you basically lose the game. That's how it is. Even though like Birdman and Armor is game. You know what? I'd rather go consistency over OTK and going aggro. Since you know a lot of decks these days play Storm and Mirror Force, so if you have all those Kaikuris on board, and you know you have Stardust on board, no one plays Mirror Force anymore. So when you attack, all those monsters will be bounced back to your hand. So that's unfortunate for you. So yeah. That's pretty much it for my deck profile, guys. And another reason, why I don't play any rank 3s. I feel like rank 3s are not necessary in the deck. That's just my personal opinion. I feel like they're not as good in the deck. You know what? The only reason why you use these cards anyways is for utility purposes, and of course for the gear or things like that. You know, you're only using Geargiano to bring back these cards anyways. You're only using Geargiano MK2 to bring back these cards anyways. So that's pretty much it for my deck profile. If you guys want me to play rank 3s, you guys can go ahead and suggest me on some cards that some rank 3s that I play, but I feel like rank 3s are not as important in this deck as the rank 4s that you have in this deck. So thank you guys so much for watching this video, and of course it's Sam from Team Sam signing out, and thank you so much for staying for the entire deck profile. And for those of you who actually stayed for like 20 minutes of your time or like 15 minutes of your time, you guys are the real MVP, and I love you guys so much. And here it is, guys, the final deck profile. This is Sam from Team Sam signing out. Peace out, guys.